Hi everyone, and welcome to the PDXCON World War II stream. And we got 10 people here who are going to be battling out in multiplayer in Death for Dishonor. And with me here commentating, I got Troy.
Hi everyone.
And yeah, so we split everybody up into kind of two teams to get a rough, good balance. So we decided our theme is going to be fascism versus communism, because there wasn't enough people or chairs for an allied faction as well. So we got 5 on each, and should we go through all the players?
Sure.
Yeah. So we got so this first here is the fascist team then. And we got Game Gabster as Czechoslovakia. We have Gaming Bear as Italy. Prussian Prince as Germany. So no pressure. Or Grugi from PDS as Spain. And we'll see which Spain, because it's going to depend a little bit. Like, if he actually loses the civil war, he's going to be forced to play for the other side. And I'm not sure if I'll butcher this name, but Tokriva as Yugoslavia.
Meanwhile, over on the communist side, we have Floriwari playing as our home country, Sweden.
Woo!
The Soviet Union is under the control of Torior. The People's Republic of China is being led to its doom by our great friend Daniel. India is under the command of Quill 18, and Romania must bow to the whims of the Solar Gamer.
Yeah. So same thing goes for Quill, because he's probably going to have the civil war to go commie. And if he loses the civil war, he's probably going to have to play for the other side. And yeah, so we figured whichever side destroys Germany or destroys the Soviet Union and wins that way, we'll call the winner. And are you guys ready to start? Or do you want some more prepping before you run? You're free to run, Daniel. Yeah. And I'm going to tweak all things here. So
we have 2 fronts really to worry about. In Europe, of course, a lot of the action is going to be happening in Eastern Europe and the Balkans, since we don't have to worry about the Allies for a bit. All the AI nations are free reign. If Germany wants to start an early war with France, that's fine. But player wars, we've put a limit on that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So 2 years. You have 2 years of preparation time. During that time, you are not allowed to attack a player. You're allowed to mess around in civil wars, but not attack a player directly, or through, say, an event that pulls you into a faction, anything like that, just to make sure everybody gets an even starting point. But after that is free-for-all, basically. And it's going to be interesting to see. So we decided not to go with Hungary here, because we want to make sure that Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia get to expand.
Do you want to talk a bit about why you think Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia make interesting minor powers, both for this stream and in the upcoming Death or Dishonor expansion?
Yeah. In fact, we got over to Seek. Is actually going to be interviewing a little thing.
Oh, okay.
Hooray! Here I am. Welcome back, everybody, to World War PDXCON, where we have the Axis versus the Comintern. We're going to get some quick words from our players here. Mr. Game Gabster, what's your initial plan for this? You can say it silently so that the other side does not hear.
Well, I intend to become an empire. That's my short-term goal. And then world conquest, of course.
That sounds very ambitious. I like it. Mr. Bear, I like that you actually have a physical bear here with you.
Exactly. It's got to be done. Well, take Ethiopia first, then help the guys out and take over the rest of the world. Simple.
Well, it sounds pretty simple when you put it like that. Easy peasy. And here we are, Mr. Prussian Prince. How are we doing? There's a paper bag here. I'm
playing Germany, and I think I'm, well, jolly Germany, right? So what I'm going to be doing is trying to protect Europe from its oppressors. So mainly United Kingdom, I think, and France. Like, they're doing, I think they perhaps need to be liberated by Germany.
It does make sense. And we'll see later in the weather forecast if the sun is still shining on jolly Germany. So, Groogster, our very own representation, well, one of them from Paradox. What is your plan to not make us feel ashamed of you?
Well, first, I'm going to have to solve the problem with that. My country is very split on if we should go communist or if we should, you know, have democracy. So I'm going to decide on, you know what, you don't deserve to vote. Franco is going to lead you to victory.
Well, Franco, what a guy. Last but not least on this side is Tokrivia. I'm sorry I butchered your name, but
It's fine.
You can pronounce it for us.
Tokriva.
Tokriva.
Yes.
And what are your initial plans?
My initial plans is to, well, get Bulgaria.
That makes a lot of sense. So, leaving the Axis far behind, we're gonna move over to the Comintern, starting off with our dear Swedish representation of Flurry Worry. Here you are. What's your plans?
Well, we're going to bring welfare to our allies and helvete to our enemies. Makes Folkshemmet proud.
You know how to grease the wheels with this reporter, straight up. Over here we have Torior. I'm once again sorry.
Yeah, sure. Hi. My initial plan is to crush everything with communist Russia and, of course, acquire our allies, because our allies, of course, don't start as our allies. We need to make them communist first. So that's gonna take some time. And then, yeah, world domination of the people's republics of everywhere.
Sounds good. And next up, you know him. You came for the pro gameplay. You stayed for the beautiful hairdo. It's our very own Daniel. Right here. Tell us what you're up to, Daniel.
So first we have to unite China under the real leader of China. And with the help, we will probably ask our Soviet friends to, well, unite the people of China under the right banner of welfare.
Welfare is the way to go in whatever you're up to. I would say myself, Mr. Quill, tell us, what will you do for us today?
Well, I think the people of British Raj have come to realize that being ruled by some foreign elite is clearly the wrong way to go. Rule by the people, for the people, is the only possible exception. At least that's what all the propaganda from China and the Soviet Union is telling us. Sound like a pretty good idea, so hopefully we'll change our government type soon and join Team Winner.
I mean, propaganda is only the best news. People are very upset. And last but not least, we have Mr. The Solar Gamer. Tell us your plans. My arm is shaking a bit, but that's because I'm tired in my arm.
Well, like most of my allies, I don't start communists, so I definitely think that my people need to become communist first. So
that makes a lot of sense, being in the Comintern. And that's all from me right now. And I guess we'll throw it right back to Troy and Dan in the studio. Take it away, boys.
All right, thanks. So that's what they were saying anyway. So I figured we'd give it a check around a little bit to see what actual plans they set up.
Well, if you take a look at the Soviet Union right now, it looks like Daniel's planning a southern move.
Yeah. Well, you're going into Turkey here, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, he's doing the purge. So I don't know if he's going to want to attack during that, especially into Turkish mountains. So he might be waiting. I don't know. Because he's, well, he is justifying, so I guess he probably is.
Yeah, and that seems to be most of the real tension right now comes from the Soviet Union pressuring Turkey for something or other.
Yeah, it also looks like they're gonna Shank together with PRC here. So he's Daniel's prepping here. So I suspect that, you know, he's going to be trying to expand as much as he can during these 2 first years here. Try and grab all of China for himself before Japan comes.
Now, the PRC is always an interesting start because you have a very short window of time in which to expand your power, expand your influence before you're kind of forced into joining your hated nationalist cousins in an aggressive war.
Yeah, I mean, you can say no, but I suspect Daniel might. I don't know. Depends how strong he's managed to get. Like, I don't know, what is he building here? It's just some infantry equipment yet. I guess it doesn't have that much. Although, if I remember correctly, their army and stuff is fairly decent. Yeah. For a small country, at least.
Yep.
Yeah, let's see. What is Quill up to? Well, he's building railways.
Gotta have railways. India's famous for its railways.
So he's not going straight for the communist bloc down here, seeking no help from Soviets yet.
Though he is getting, the Communist Party is being supported by both the Chinese and the Soviets at this point.
Oh yeah, so they're gonna probably flip commie pretty soon anyway then. And let's see who else we got. We got Romania for Solar Gamer. And he's got two plans here, one against Yugoslavia and one against Czechoslovakia. So I guess that's long-term plans because he's not allowed to attack them for 2 years.
Right.
And
so he's clearly setting up his fronts 2 years in advance. He wants to get the troops ready and in place.
And he's got King Carol in power, and he's already revising the constitution here.
Do you want to explain to our listeners what King Carol does?
Okay, so the thing with Romania is they got this really interesting monarch who's a bit of a party boy, and he actually managed to kind of deftly maneuver politics and actually stay in power for quite a while, despite pressure from lots of different political groups. But I mean, there's debates over how much he cared about his job, but he certainly siphoned off a lot of Romania's cash into a Swiss bank account. So
what challenges does a Romanian player face, does a Solar Gamer face with party boy, playboy King Carol?
Well, it causes a lot of scandals, right? But he has some advantages, like it's cheaper to recruit into the cabinet with him. And if you go and look at the focus tree here, you can get some nice stuff like the Royal Foundation Research Societies. You get bonuses for fortifications, while historically he only said he was going to do and then stole all the money. But you can actually use the money to build fortifications. So you're going to be better off. And probably, I mean, looking at the situation, Romania is going to be the front line here, right?
Pardon?
So that's probably going to be maybe a good idea.
This is the main one.
Yeah. And there's certain ways to handle this king, right? There's 3 or 4 ways actually. You can coup him straight away, but then you don't get much of the benefits. And you can force abdicate him or handle him. And that depends a little bit on what ideology you go for. And Romania is really flexible, so they can kind of switch ideologies a bit. So most of the stuff is not mutually exclusive, like it is in a lot of other trees. There's also the just stick with the royals, right, and you can get him that way.
So which of our other communist players have we not checked out? We should probably check out Sweden, the last of the commies.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting.
How could you forget Sweden?
Well, we're not communist yet. We're not communist yet. Oh, it's growing. It's what we got here, 12%.
My game.
Yeah. And communism on the rise. And we got Per Albin Hansson still. Seems to be going for industry effort here, which I guess makes a lot of sense early on. It's going to take a while for them to get in, and Sweden's going to need to do some serious build-up to be ready to fight. Well, looking frontline-wise, though, I'm kind of seeing this kind of threatening build-up against Oslo. So maybe that is going to be the target. Seem to be training the Swedish troops at the moment.
So there's our run through the communist plans. We should probably take a look at how the fascist opponents are doing. Now, of course, as usual, Germany will be taking the lead and setting the pace for this war in this game.
Yeah.
The aptly named Prussian Prince is this week's Führer.
Yeah, this week's Führer. Now, they seem to have start off with Rhineland, but then they're going to be doing industry build-up. So I think people are going to make the most of these 2 years. And it'll be interesting to see what they're doing build-up-wise of equipment here. So a lot of infantry equipment. It's a lot of basic stuff. So we're not sure yet exactly what direction they're going to be going. Looking at tech as well. There's a lot of long-term stuff here. Mechanical computing and construction machine tools. And seem to be going for a large infantry army early on, which makes a lot of sense as well.
Now, the way we've set up this game, there's not much need for naval build-up, is there?
No, I mean, there might be a bit, because, oh, here we go, peace conference against Ethiopia. Well, I guess we can start looking at the Italy player after that. But no, there's going to be a bit, right? But I think for the fascists, they're going to be okay with the Italian Navy, right? Because all they need it for now is to ensure being able to do naval invasions against Russia and stuff like that.
Right. So let's take a look at Italy, which just finished the conquest of Ethiopia, which is, the standard start.
Yeah, then they can do triumph in Africa soon, but they're doing some more industry as well, so they're also going for the long game. And I've got, oh, sorry. Did someone just hot join in?
Me.
Oh, did you drop? Whoops.
But I'm just talking and watching. So
I just got confused there because everything jumped up.
yeah, that was me.
All right. Oh, exciting. So Italy is doing a plan here against France. Let's see if they've set up their air force yet. I'm gonna make sure people get a chance to see the new air interface as well.
Yes, please.
But I'm gonna wait probably until we start some conflict because there's not much to look at before we actually start fighting.
So Italy is actually personally my favorite start in all of Hearts of Iron 4. I think it is a country with a lot of options, a lot of creativity. You can do the land thing, the naval thing.
Yeah, they're like a mix of Germany and Japan light, I think. You know, you get some naval, you get some land. You don't necessarily have to push the whole conflict yourself if you don't want to either. So you can kind of decide when you want to enter it.
And there's always that one British amphibious attack on, you know,
or more than
Naples,
one.
Or more than one.
Yeah.
That brings you down. So let's go through the rest of the fascists. Italy's neighbor, Yugoslavia. Now, usually in the game, these two end up becoming bitter enemies, but we put them on the same side.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It looks like they're going to sink their teeth into Bulgaria, in fact. Let's see if they're actually justifying. No, not yet. They are neutral, so they're going to have to boost up their fascism. In fact, I don't think we've actually shown the Yugoslavia tree yet, so make notes if you haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
Yugoslavia is kind of... Actually, we'll start with spirits. They're a country with a lot of internal struggles. So you have Macedonian opposition, Croatians, Slovene nationalism, Serbian... oh, well, and specifically an anti-German military that you kind of, if you're going to go fascist, want to join the Axis, kind of need to get rid of these guys or they're going to be a coup. So if we look back on the focus trees, you see there's a lot of mutual exclusion things. You're going to have to do a lot of trade-offs. There is stuff like making the Orthodox church happy, stuff like that. And so we'll see what you're going to be doing here, but you kind of have to go all the way down here to join the Axis. And you start with really low national unity. I think that's going to be important in multiplayer because you could take them out pretty quickly otherwise.
Yeah, if Tokarev doesn't get his national unity up into the 60 range, a couple of attacks will knock him out very easily.
Yeah. They also have a lot of interesting options for license production. So I hope people are going to be using that in multiplayer, especially in multiplayer like this where you can kind of coordinate. So one player might be the one who's going to be doing the absolute best aircraft and the other could license produce it. There are some output penalties for that unless you're subjects or have special deals through focus trees. Right. But I think it might be a really powerful strategy. And they also have options for the coastline, but I suspect they're not going to care about that, and they're just going to rely on the Italian Navy here.
So let's take a look at the Czechs,
yeah,
who are an industrial powerhouse.
Yes.
A lot of factories, especially for what you consider a middle power.
Yeah, and they start with the Skoda work as well, so all of their factories get a 10% output bonus. And they are divided as well. There's this Slovak stuff going on, and in fact, a lot of their industry tree relies on that. So you have some trade-offs. How are you going to deal with pressure from outside? Because you can choose to boost the Slovak areas with industry as well, or just go with the complete Czech parts. And that's very important if you're going to be going the fascist path. Now, with a kind of friendly Germany, I suspect the trade-offs might not be so bad.
Right.
They're probably going to let them keep stuff. So we'll see, but you have several options here. Like, how do you want to deal with Germany, right? Again, in multiplayer, more freedom, but against an AI, there are 3 different ways. You can sort of appease them or end up as a puppet. More as an ally, where you, I believe, is the one where you end up as the subject of them. Yes, one of the new Axis levels. And you can also end up as a more of a even partner, but for that you have to be a lot stronger.
And the final fascist power we have is, of course, Nationalist Spain, who it looks like they skipped the Civil War straight.
Or it might be happening still.
Oh, they're Nationalist Spain now. Yeah, they could probably get Do you expect a Republican civil war?
I cannot remember if you can completely avoid it. I think it might still happen. We'll see. Franco has been powered, so I guess that's the spirit of Grugi here.
Is that a spirit? Is that a national focus? Spirit of Grugi?
I could be. He earlier tried to explain Czechoslovakia as the hedgehog of Europe.
Do you want to explain that?
Well, because, you know, they can have all these amazing fortifications. In fact, I'll go back to check that out real quick. If you look at this whole thing here, so they now start off with a little less fortifications, but you get really strong focuses where they take good ideas from the French, basically, to build up the fortification lines. So they can make some really strong defense now. So if you want to take on the Germans, it's a little easier, I think. Although, except unless you forget, because no name calling, but there was a guy during the press interview who was like, "Oh, I got this best defense," and he actually forgot to build the defense because he was too busy building his defense army. That was still fun, though. So what is Grugi doing? He's building the basic kind of stuff, and yeah, we changed the support equipment icon. You guys might have noticed, because apparently you're not allowed to use the Red Cross stuff. Breaks the Geneva Convention, as we found out lately. So we've been changing these kind of icons, and it's coming out when the next update. And he's researching industry. Oh yeah, they're starting kind of way behind as well. So we'll see. It's always a little struggle with it, with Spain like this as well. It's like, do you want to build an army? Because you get the civil war, you're gonna sort of lose some of it. Yeah.
But you do get all that valuable experience that you can use against a lot of your other neighbors who might not have that battlefield experience.
No. In fact, I'm going to have a look. We've been rebalancing the Soviet Union a little bit, so they actually start with more... well, actually, they have a massive lack of equipment still, but this is slightly less bad now. We had to rebalance because the German AI got a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're still lacking like 57K here. I guess they're also producing a lot of divisions, so yeah. So we got that Toreador, yeah. So I guess he's gonna go for massive manpower. He seems to be preparing as Turkey. Let's see what time is left on that. He's about, well, he's getting there. So he's gonna be ready in October.
Looks like we have our war.
Yeah, let's go see how the Chanking of Changxi is going.
So this was expected.
Yeah. Although, yeah. Wait.
The Soviet allies have jumped in.
Yeah.
And Shaanxi should vanish relatively quickly.
Yeah, but I'm not seeing Daniel push here. I thought he was going to be pushing as well, but
he's taking some spots.
Yeah, now he is. Yeah. And he's a friendly old Mao. Let's see what kind of divisions they have. I don't think they're particularly impressive, these small ones. Well, decent if you're a small nation, I guess. But I really want to have some support stuff as well. Let's see what he's researching. Yeah, I figured he would do it. Mass assault. Daniel actually likes that one. It's one of those things that the community is like not a big fan of. Daniel likes this one a lot. It has some unique twists.
Do you want to explain some of the debate over the doctrines?
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of a little bit tailored to a certain style, and some of them are a little strong. Superior firepower, for example, probably gives a little bit too much organization, because it's one of those things that's always good. For mass assault, though,
superior firepower, that's where you build a lot of artillery to support your infantry.
Yeah, exactly. So the meta is kind of going in the... It's still a little bit in the artillery direction. We balanced it a lot in the last patch. We're probably going to have to tweak it a little bit more. Mass assault, though, has some things where... Let's see, where is that? They have things... Supply graze here is a great one. If you're going to be fighting in any areas where you get cut off, supply graze is amazing, because you don't get that penalty right away, so you can beat yourself out of pockets. It's great when you're fighting in Asia, where there may be a lot of holes and mountains and nasty stuff like that. So I've seen Daniel use that one to good effect. I think it's one of those undervalued abilities of that tree. And it looks like they're not, you know, it's just a matter of time now. I'm gonna look at the army. Have you seen the new war interface, by the way, Troy?
I have not.
Yeah, so if you look at the top here, we're actually showing like complete fielded manpower and total losses. And I'm pretty impressed by the loss numbers here on the attacker side. Only 94 men have died versus 3,000 losses on the other side. So
that's
yeah, it
very
seems
efficient.
yes, very efficient. I'm kind of impressed by that actually, but I guess they're not wasting. Well, actually, Daniel's bled the most, so. But still, it's kind of neat. This gives you a really good way of just getting a quick overview, and you can see number of factors. You can see that Soviet Union's got 87 straight up, and you can sort by these things as well. And before it was, you had to go around and try and get a rough idea how strong the enemy was. Intel does affect this, so as you can see, although they have complete intel on Shaanxi here. Well, actually, it's me because I'm observer.
Of course, we know all.
Yeah. But yeah, so Intel does impact what kind of data you get there. Oh, they seem to be running some air stuff. So let's see if we can see anything going on here.
The PRC doesn't start with planes, do they?
No, but I saw the Soviets. In fact, they seem to have. Oh, of course, I'm gonna have to actually switch to the Soviets first.
Oh, there's a coup in Romania.
Ooh. In fact, let's have a look at that then.
Yeah, since the war in Shaanxi is pretty much over.
Yeah. Oh, but the coup was... I think it was the... Oh, here we go. Yeah, the war's over. How will they split up Shaanxi?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably give it all to Daniel, I suspect.
Well, he did lose the
match. It'll be funny, though, if the Soviet player snagged it all. Yeah. Looks like they're grabbing it. Yeah, got it all. So.
And 2,000 guns, which is not a small prize for a country like PRC.
No, it's probably doubling the. So one small step for the world, a big step for Daniel, I guess.
So Michael I is now in charge of Romania.
Yeah, so we didn't get to keep Carol around, and he's young and bushy-tailed, I guess. Michael I. He doesn't have a lot of that sentiment of the mandala. Okay, so they got some of the royalty. Let's see what choices they made here. So they go with flexible foreign policy, which lets you kind of join factions early, kind of switch between factions, because, you know, Romania is one of those nations that technically was on all three sides in the war.
Yes.
So we kind of wanted to capture that, so you can jump around a little bit in ideologies. And in multiplayer, when we haven't really set the factions like we have now, that could probably be pretty interesting. Yeah, so flexible foreign policies. And I think it's more than... I think the other bonuses maybe not show because the tension's so high.
The tension is growing. Now, we don't have anybody playing the Allied players. How do you think the Allies could throw a kink into our plans for, you know, bloodshed between the two extreme ideologies?
Yeah, so it really depends on what the German player is going to be doing. In fact, they seem to be doing the Anschluss now, so they're sort of on track. But they do have an attack plan set up against France and one against Poland. So. Because we changed our tension work a bit, so if you're going to go against France directly, the British would actually be able to protect them. And it looks like Communist Sweden, aptly named Folkhemmet, has joined Comintern as well. And the purge continues in the Soviet Union as well. No, I think UK is probably going to try and invade stuff. There's probably going to be some war in Africa. The question is, if the Italian player is going to care with the big Soviet threat. They might actually give up most of Africa, perhaps?
It's the goal for each player is to take either Moscow or Berlin.
Yeah, Although, I mean, you kind of want to control the Suez here, because if you're going to be launching any invasions against, say, the Raj here, right, you really probably want to go through there. And it's going to be difficult otherwise. You probably don't want to have to bash your way through the main defense line in the Soviet Union. Let's see what Germany is up to. They are still on. Yeah, we're running on speed 3 here, and I think we might slow down a little bit if people need to when the war comes. The HOI community is really split on the speeds, by the way. I talked to some groups, and they run like 3 and 4. Daniel sometimes around 5 at the office, but he's crazy. And then I have people who go like speed 1, but speed 1 is almost too fast, you know. So it's like really, really different groups. So certain groups can you know, they get together one evening and just finish a whole game, and some play like an hour or 2 every day for weeks.
Personally, I'm comfortable with 4.
Yeah, I don't know. Not in war.
But I'm not saying that I'm a good Hearts of Iron player.
No.
It might be better if I slowed it down, but...
Probably. But as long as everybody's going fast, you know, it's... well, I think he might have avoided the Civil War completely, actually. Huh.
Well, then that's sneaky.
Yeah, maybe this depends on how much of a support there is. Because I know there's a possibility for the other way around as well. Let's see what else.
There's still a strong democratic ideology going on there in Spain. So
yeah. There seems to be no... Germany's justifying on Poland at the moment. So we might have an early attack on Poland, and I think that makes sense. Grabbing some territory.
If you look at the AI Poland, they have attacks planned as well. Right into Eastern Prussia and to the doors of Berlin. Well, good luck, guys.
Yeah, wow.
That's like a dream.
At least they're not justifying against Germany.
They are not.
But Turkey's... October is going to be an interesting month because on the 14th, the Soviet Union finishes their war goal against Turkey. And on the 30th, Germany can go against Poland, which are already guaranteed. So that's going to bring in the AI. Let's see how they do.
Well, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Let's see what Daniel's up to now. So he's continued to justify against the enemies around there. I wonder if we could get some more interviews from people around. See, like maybe how does Sweden feel about joining the Comintern? Like, are they being treated well?
Yeah, maybe Zeke should go and speak to Floriworry.
Yeah, they seem to be justifying against Norway as well. I'm not sure
how Norway fits into these larger plans.
Yeah, it's not.
Zeke, are you out there?
So, we're back here with Floriworry. Do you have some words on how it feels to now be in the Comintern?
It's amazing. It's so good.
I don't think they're on the screen yet, though.
So nice. But I'm doing some very secret stuff right now, so I don't know what I can talk about.
Put them in the corner. All right.
So I don't honestly don't know.
It's a little hard to see.
What I can tell you and what I can't. I mean, I could tell you, but
I trust that technology people know what they're doing.
Yeah.
It sounds very reasonable. We won't force you to give it away, but you're a happy camper now in the Comintern.
It's very nice. It feels very cozy.
That is very good to hear. Either way, then I'll leave you to it and fulfill your destiny.
So I think Troy and I felt it was time to sit down actually now after 3 pretty grueling days at PDXCON actually.
They were long days, but they were good days, I think.
Yeah, really fun, but morning to night. It's always fun to hang out with fans, and like I think the seminars and stuff we were doing this year were pretty popular.
Most of the rooms were overflow, which was very outstanding.
Yeah. And I'm going to be sharing a little tidbits next week in my dev diary about the stuff I was talking as well, I think. But of course, everybody who came here got to find out first. So Germany's prepping, and what we got now, it's not many days now until the attack on Turkey. Do we have any other big attacks going
well,
on?
Daniel's getting ready to move into Shibe Sanma.
And Austria's Anschluss.
As expected.
Yes. I am a little surprised Yugoslavia has not really gone and done anything, but I guess they're not really managed to go fascist just yet. It takes a little longer for them.
It does. But they're moving to traditional values.
Yeah.
Which is the right path they want to take, I think.
Yeah.
That takes them down into a more aggressive, nationalist Yugoslav model.
Yes, as observer here, I do get these options, but it doesn't matter what I pick in them. So I get the events of the nation, so... Let's see, Turkey is about to get hit any second now, I think. Let's see if they're actually going to declare war.
Would you? With the purge going on? You as master strategist and designer of this game, would you wait until the purge is over?
I would have prepared a naval invasion probably also.
Okay.
I think. This area is one of the bloodiest to fight in.
Yeah.
Is mountains. They all have properly dug in fortifications. Let's see if they've actually putting any... yeah, so they're leveraging their air force, which I'm pretty sure Turkey doesn't really have. So, and Folkhemmet is refusing to help out.
And so do the Chinese.
Yeah.
And I wonder...
Is coordination not working there? Maybe it's like... Yeah. So, anyway, you guys can see the new air interface stuff here. So, in fact...
why don't you click on an airport and show people how we've rationalized
rationalized, yeah. So, as you can see, this is the air mode, and wings are now actual units on the map. And you can see ranges and stuff like this. When I zoom out, now I've got like long-range stuff selected, but you can see when I select something that's a bit shorter ranged as well, it changes. And you can see here, arrows is to indicate where stuff is going, so it's much easier to actually track where stuff is coming from, where it's going to do missions now. And some of the stuff I can't show in observer mode is how nice it is to be able to split and merge now, because it's kind of smart, so we'll split and merge based on types. So it's really easy to adjust your sizes, or if you want to spread out. And the other thing we've done is we have made a new combat interface. And this sort of shows you what's going on as you're watching it. Now, it doesn't seem to have a lot of defense. Oh, it does have a little bit. But you can see here that he is rocking ground attacks. Yeah, so he has some filters, so you can decide sort of what you want to see. And he's done I've got this running on last day now. You can also have just the last sortie if you just want to see the latest thing that's happening. And so you can see that bombers went there. They didn't find a target to attack on the ground, but some of them were disrupted and had to turn back, damaged. And in fact, I'm going to toggle on all of these.
Yugoslavia has joined the Axis, so things are starting to heat up here.
And attack on Poland is happening. And in fact, this is new as well. You can see this is a different color. So these indicate that CAS are actually helping out in those combats. So you can see that right away in this screen. And I think before we weren't showing battle plans either. So that makes it a lot easier to see where front lines and stuff like that are going. All right, so let's quickly see how is Poland doing. I suspect not well.
So something just happened in Czechoslovakia you'll have to explain. It looks like they've been split.
Oh. Yeah, interesting. So,
Czechoslovakia has been divided into the Bohemian Empire, which is the old Czech area, and Czechoslovakia, which is modern Slovakia.
So this would be a civil war, I guess. I'm gonna go switch to, here we go, it's the fascist side. So they've gone down, Czech fascism here, and I think it triggered the actual normal. Yeah, I think it triggered the normal. Civil war actually, because there's one of these that also trigger a civil war because it's got a little warning on it, but they seem to have gone the regular event-wise civil wars, but they seem to have won that pretty quickly. Let's see if I can switch. And Germany's definitely winning this one. I mean, it's not much left to go. Doing quite well on casualties as well. It's ticking up a bit. That's going to be more important long term. And who else we got? Bohemian Empire looks cool though. What is Yugoslavia up to? They are... No, they... Oh yeah, actually now we have the allies in here. We'll have a look to see what the AI is actually doing. Are they planning any invasions or anything? No. Well, actually they are. The AI is planning to invade Yugoslavia.
AI which?
Yeah. Well, that would be, I think, that would be Britain, I think.
Oh, and we have the long-awaited civil war in Spain.
Yep. There we go. So it happened a little later than expected.
So if our fascist friend in Spain, who is Grugy, if he loses this war, he flips to a democratic country, not a communist country, or is the Republicans communist?
So Republicans are communists. Historically, that's a little arguable,
right?
Because it was a collaboration of whole bunch of different stuff. For gameplay reasons, it works better for them to be communists. But yeah.
So for the rules of our game, that means he changes sides.
Yeah, I mean, he's now playing the nationalists, right? So if they were to lose, he's gonna have to hot join in as the other side.
Glorious.
Yes. That is quite nice with hot join, actually. Allows you to do that kind of stuff. It would have been cool if at the end of a civil war you also were allowed to just switch in game. And Italy is, oh, here we go, another treaty. Daniel's growing steady.
Daniel's dangerous in this game.
Yeah, well, not yet, but I think he will be soon. And he looks to be, oh, Soviet Union doesn't really want to do anything, so I think they should just give him all the points. Yeah, just give Daniel all the points. Or take his stuff. Take his stuff.
Yes.
Might be a good point to say. I'm not sure if I've written in a diary or anything yet. We changed a little bit how peace conferences go, so if you're going to take territory that is occupied by anyone else, it's going to cost you almost 10 times as much now, or actually exactly 10 times as much. Which does make it a lot harder to cheese and do stuff like that.
Right.
And Poland's still hanging on.
And so is Turkey, as you predicted. Torior is having quite a bit of trouble breaking through the mountains of Armenia.
Yeah, whenever someone does that, it's always a bloodbath. In fact, I'm going to see if I can see exactly how much of a bloodbath here in the combat log. So, equipment losses, yep. So, almost twice as much from attrition. And it keeps going up. So it's not a good area to fight in. It's got lost about 13k men. Which is not that bad, but... Oh well, actually I might have reformed the armies and stuff. And Warsaw's down. But really, oh, he is actually planning a naval invasion now. As you can see from Krasnodar. So that's probably going to break them, right? Turkey does not have enough units to handle multiple fronts like that.
Yes.
Soviet Union does. So, although the Turkish fleet is actually there to mess with them, I think. Let's see, how far away are they from launching this?
I need another 30 days, another month before that can go anywhere. And in the meantime, he'll lose 20, 30,000 more men in those mountains.
Yeah, he probably should have maybe done a smaller invasion, and honestly, and run from a couple of different ports. But if he does land, he's going to be cutting those guys off from supply,
yes,
and just win probably. But
we haven't checked in on India for a while. Now, India is something that became playable and interesting in our Together for Victory expansion.
Yeah, so they have, let me toggle over to them here and see what Quill is up to. He is still a subject of the crown. And he has been pulled into the war, actually. So I do think, though, that when he goes with the People's Army, he actually fires off a civil war.
Yes, that event triggers the communist uprising to overthrow the imperial overlords.
Yeah, so he should be okay. He should be able to step out of that war and be on the other side. I hope. We'll see. But I think that is coming up here in 60 days. So I guess he was supported then by the Soviet Union. Because this is sort of an opt-in here. You seek help from the Soviet Union, and that's going to make it better for you. If nobody responds for your help, you can still do your own thing, but you're kind of on your own, and Britain's going to come and kick your butt, basically. A lot of cool icons in this tree, by the way. I love these Gurkha knives. It's cool.
It was a lot of fun to see. As a Canadian, it was fun to see Together for Victory come together.
Yeah, I mean, you helped as well. You did a lot of the writing.
I did some of the writing, some of the research. It was a great treat to finally contribute a bit to one of my favorite games.
Yeah. So Daniel seemed to be taking a break. I don't see him justifying just now.
Okay, it looks like Comintern's getting itself together, getting its act together at least.
Yeah, I guess. And neither is the Soviet Union. They're not really going for anyone. And let's see, how is the plot, how is the purge going? They still have minus 50% org. Oh, even worse in those mountains.
But in one more week, they can launch their amphibious attack. So that's that has to go well for them.